Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about 10 steps to organize your taxes. This is part 2 of a 2-part series, so let's jump right into it. So the 6th component comes down to investments. Now investments, you may have purchased or sold a business, a rental property, a primary residence, and you may have received a 1098 form for that, or maybe even you received some level of support or assistance in the form of a mortgage payment, and you received a 1098 MA for that. And so those types of aspects for your investments, you want to make sure to notate and then also either request the documentation or just store the documentation you received. Beyond that, the component number 7 comes down to retirement. So under retirement, you may have a sponsored plan that you contributed to through your employer. You may have some kind of IRA or annuity. You may have some kind of deferred compensation plan of some kind. But what you want to do is factor in all those components, make note of them, and also make sure that you have the proper documentation for them. Component number 8 comes down to loans. Anything that you may have in regards to a home equity line of credit or a line of credit otherwise, you want to factor in, you want to pull that in and take that into consideration, especially if you had a sale of a investment property that those would apply to. So you want to keep that in mind. The 9th and final component related to this specifically is income. So income, of course, is probably the first thing you think of in regards to ensuring that you get a double W-2 for any income that was derived from a primary income source. Now, beyond that, you may have received a 1099 as a contractor, or you may have taxes for any work that you did outside of your state or outside of the country you reside, and had income that way. Now, the 10th and final component comes down to the plan to spend. Now, this is going to be a huge component on an ongoing basis to make sure that you have in place, because the plan to spend will help calibrate and also reinforce those expenses that you are referring to in your Google Drive or in the place that you store not only your documentation, but also your receipts. So that plan to spend is so pivotal, so important to get organized and to help you through this process. So once you have factored in these 10 tabs into your Google Sheet, into your Excel document, you'll have a little bit more peace of mind of making sure that you're covering all the main bases that a tax professional, or even going through the process of utilizing something like TurboTax, would ask. Those questions they would ask in that process, and it will give you peace of mind that you've covered the bases of making sure to factor in any expenses related to you as an individual. Now, this isn't an all-encompassing list, and of course, this only has to do with you as an individual, not your business necessarily. But it will be important for you to look at how you can utilize a resource like this to get organized, to make sure that you're factoring in all the key components, to ensure that you're not paying taxes that are unnecessary, that you're not paying more taxes than are necessary in regards to what you actually owe. My call to action today really does come down to going through each of these components, making sure that you have a solid plan in place to not only store documents and store receipts, but also to track any thoughts in regards to your varying changes throughout the year for anything that's related to taxation. So figuring out a system that you can use for this will be so pivotal, because taxes aren't going anywhere. And if anything, they're going to increase in years to come. And so you'll want to be more and more prepared to make sure that you're not paying more taxes than are actually owed. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.